Hey everybody, I'm James. I am a video producer and other types of media and all that kind of stuff. And this is Daniel.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel McFadden. I am a sports journalist for NBCSports.com, but you're not here for that. You're here for movies.
Yes, he found a way to get paid to watch cars go around in circles.
Yeah.
All right, and we're today our first attempt at this podcast thing. I'm going to be reviewing a old movie. It is Chinatown. It's from 1974. It is a neo-noir mystery film. It was directed by Roman Polanski, written by Robert Towne, who won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay, starring Jack Nicholson, who plays Jake Gittes.
For all you young kids, he's the Joker from 1989.
Yes. And Faye Dunaway, who, this will appeal to you, Daniel, played Mrs. Dubrow in Dunstan Checks In. And she plays...
Wait. Is that a movie about a monkey?
It's about it's about some sort of monkey type thing, chimpanzee.
Chimp. I have vague memories of this.
Yes, it's about a chimp that lives in a hotel or something involving a hotel. I never saw it, but
I'm pretty sure I did.
But
I might have even seen that in theaters, but I'm not for sure.
But Faye Dunaway, her career had progressed to the heights of Dunstan Checks In thanks to her role in Chinatown, and Faye Dunaway plays Evelyn Murray.
The female fatale, or femme fatale. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that is the character archetype that is from the noir genre that Roman Polanski was attempting to replicate.
Yeah, she's also been in movies like Network, 3 Days of Condor, I believe Bonnie and Clyde, which...
Yeah, I think that's the one that most people mention when they're talking about this movie. But, I mean, come on. Those terrible, animal movies from the late 90s. You can't top those.
Hey, Air Bud, man. Air Bud's an American masterpiece.
Yeah. All right. The movie itself was inspired by the California Water Wars, which was this sort of...
something I'd never heard of?
Yes, it was a private and public battle for control of the water supply of California. The big event from that was actually a dam that burst and just absolutely killed a bunch of people.
Which is mentioned in the
second
movie.
Yeah, so it's the character that we see that Jack Nicholson is following is based on a real life guy named Willem Mulholland, who
like Mulholland Drive.
I don't know, but anyway, he's based on a real dude that was in charge of overseeing the real life project of the dam that burst, and that just basically killed his career. And this is sort of, I guess, a Robert Towne using that as a jumping off point to kind of create this mystery of his own character.
Okay. Well, I guess we should also explain why we decided on Chinatown for a movie. I recently started reading the Robert Ebert's book of essays called The Great Movies. And Chinatown is one of those movies, and also it happened to be on Netflix. I've never... This is my first Roman Polanski film I've ever watched, ever. All I know... before this, all I knew Roman Polanski for was a scandal that means he has to stay in Europe. And I believe this is only my third Jack Nicholson movie outside of Batman and Something's Gotta Give.
Those were the classics. But anyway, so what, like, before you watch this, what were your kind of thoughts on the movie? Like, what was your kind of expectations with this being a, kind of classic film, Ebert top 100?
I had my expectations there was going to be crimes involved, and Jack Nicholson would either be committing those crimes or helping to solve those crimes. Those were my exact expectations. And I knew it took place in L.A. in the first half of the 20th century, and yeah.
I'll be honest. I expected there to be a little bit more Chinatown.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, like, okay, I wrote down first Chinatown reference. Okay, movie is called Chinatown. The first Chinatown reference that I caught, I might have missed one, was 32 minutes into the movie.
Yes, yes, yes. As it turns out, the character of Jake Gittes is a former cop. He is has some mysterious event that happened in his past that has caused him to become a private detective. He's terrible at it, but he's Jack Nicholson, so he gets money somehow. And
I don't think he's terrible at it. I think this movie clearly shows he's good at what he does.
Okay, maybe he's not a terrible private eye, but he is the least stealthiest person in the world to ever do anything in this field. My note in my notes, I wrote, keeps failing stealth checks.
He keep what?
Keeps failing stealth checks.
Stealth. Okay, yeah. Like what? Give me an example.
When he's
when he's like sneaking around at the reservoir.
When he's on the roof, at one point he knocks a terracotta tile onto the ground and no one seems to care.
It happened.
Yes.
It's LA.
It's pretty much I the only thing he actually gets away with that I remember is like following people in a car.
Well, he did have this really cool trick with the stopwatch to figure out when someone left. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But anyway,
what were your expectations?
I really, I was expecting something, a mid-70s, cop drama. It's my I don't have a lot of experience with like actual noir films. Old detective stuff. My biggest exposure to that is parodies on Looney Tunes and.
So have you not watched like the Maltese Falcon or The Big Sleep?
I have not.
Well, those are better movies than this is.
Yes.
So, but yeah, which is funny because one of the characters in this movie, the father of Faye Dunaway's character, is played by John Huston, who actually directed The Big Sleep. He directed a lot. He directed The Maltese Falcon, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The African Queen, and The Man Who Would Be King. So, especially with The Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart, that's someone that he knows the genre. And
that's one of the things that it is nicer when you have these kind of movies. You have these really high, like, artsy kind of directors. You end up with a lot of stuff that's like that is kind of cool, where you have these little touches that film buffs and all that kind of thing will appreciate, like bringing in someone who's had a big impact on the genre that you're trying to kind of pay homage to.
It's kind of like, did you see Jack Reacher?
No, I did not.
Well, the villain in Jack Reacher is played by Werner Herzog.
Yes, yeah, which is an odd thing.
No, he played the part well. He plays the villain. He's a nihilistic villain, and from what I know about Werner Herzog, that's he brings that to everything he does. And mean, I didn't know that it was John Huston in the movie when I was watching it, but the fact that when they got someone who knows how those movies work to play their antagonist or whatever, I think they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. All right. So, without really giving anything away, what were your takeaway from the movie? Like, how did you feel about it? What was your, what would, if you were trying to talk to someone about it without spoiling it, what would that be?
It's got a great vibe. It nails the noir, just the tone of the film with the direction, the acting, cinematography's pretty good, especially depicting a version of LA we're not familiar with.
The suburbs.
The suburbs, the desert. It's a movie that can grab your attention, but writing wise, I know noir movies are supposed to be kind of convoluted, supposed to keep you on your kind of throw you off balance at certain points in the movie, but once you get past like the halfway mark in this movie, which is about 2-hour movie, the narrative just doesn't start to make much sense anymore, and the final like 20 minutes are just a mess.
That was definitely how I kind of felt about it. I was really down with the beginning. I really liked the whole, weird. We're gonna take some really grown-up topic and make a movie about it, like the water systems in LA and the some kind of little conspiracy thing going on. There's some big plan that he's trying to uncover. Yeah, that was all great, and then it just kind of forgot that it was a mystery and just went off the rails.
Well, there's like a 15-minute section in the movie where it forgets what the actual plot direction was. Like it forgot its plot a couple corners back, and it's like time for a really weird romance film. And then it couldn't really figure out where it was after that.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. From now on, let's open up the spoiler gate, I guess. Since it's an old film, there's no point in spending too much time.
Pause for quirky intro.
You watching this film, like I said, I liked it. I understand how it's one of those things where you watch an old film, you understand why it could have been considered really, really great.
Yeah.
But without just immersing myself in the context of it and fully understanding it, it just, like we said earlier, it just turns into a mess. And the point that it starts losing me is when he goes to the orange grove.
Yeah. Oh, I get they're diverting water from these orange groves. I think they said it was in the northwest of LA. So
they said that was their excuse for opening the floodgates. Like they were basically, all right, they were dumping water to keep the prices up. It's basically what was going on. Oddly enough, very similar to another real life controversy with Enron, where they're actually shutting down power plants to create an energy shortage in order to drive prices up.
You just explained Enron to me. I had no idea what Enron was.
Well, that was one of, like, that is like a little check mark on what Enron is.
As a 9-year-old, Enron was just one of those buzzwords you heard for a long time. It's like Enron. Oh, so that's what that was. Okay.
Watch the smartest guys in the room. So basically, what was going on? Yeah, they were dumping water to keep the prices up. They were. The plot of the big conspiracy is they're creating a water shortage. The former owner with some other people that we don't really know about that well are the former owner of the water supply. The guy who at the beginning of the movie gets killed was business partners with the Evelyn Murray's father. They own the water supply. Guy that gets killed decided, hey, the people should own this. Those socialists or something. But he became the head of the water department, basically. The father then decided to kind of use what control he had with his friends or whatever somehow to dump water, create a shortage, and they were basically trying to run all the farms and the vineyards and the orchards and all that stuff. They're trying to run them out of business
so they had to sell them, and then they can buy it.
And they could buy it, and then they could sell it again and make
gentrify it.
Literally millions of dollars, which apparently for these people is like a month's pay, but
Well, the bad thing about this movie, like we need to avoid like just completely going beat by beat through the movie. But like the orange groves, it's like he goes to the orange groves, gets attacked by a guy with a crutch. The guy hitting him with the crutch was like the funniest thing in the
No. The funniest thing was, so he gets in the fight with the rednecks. One of them has the crutch. He's just like tapping him on the back. And at one point, Jack Nicholson punches the guy in the balls. And then he gets knocked out. And as the scene fades to black, somebody, I don't know who, goes, "Well, that's that."
Really? I didn't catch
Yes. Like it had to have been like someone in production, and they just kept it in. Like it's so out of place, but it's funny.
But it's like he wakes up, the rednecks are over him, and so is Faye Dunaway's character. And one of the guys is like, "We thought we should call your employer."
Yeah,
politely, matter of factly, no like venom in his voice. It's like, okay.
And then, honestly, like I hate to blame it on the script, because that's almost feels like it's such a weird way to move from one.
I bet that was a
scene to another.
I bet that was a pickup shoot.
Yeah, it's so weird to move from that scene to another scene. There's so many different ways you could have done it. He escapes and calls her, and then his car dies on the road, so he calls her from a payphone to come pick him up or something. There's so many ways to go from being at the orange grove to being picked up by the lady to then they just pick, oh, we called your employer, which wouldn't. No.
No. But I think the real issue is, like, I don't remember them even mentioning the orange groves again till the end when Gittes is like giving his summation. It was like, so.
And the thing is, the only reason he went to the orange grove is because someone he talked to was at I can't remember who it was, but he was told that the reason why he was seeing water runoff is what they called it. Like he said, they weren't dumping water. That's water runoff. We're directing water to the orange groves to help the farmers out, trying to help them out. And he went to the orange groves to confirm his theory that they were lying. And I really just don't understand the purpose of anything that happens in that film, in that scene, to help convey that message. Like, they tell him, "Nope, we're not getting any water," and then they beat each other up.
I think once you get past that, like, the hour point in this movie, it just becomes the movie just becomes kind of a series of weird vignettes.
Yeah,
it's just together.
Yeah, it's just a series of weird kind of scenes that kind of happen, and there's kind of a plot, but
there's natural buildup through the first hour.
Yes,
and then it just stops, and it kind of just stumbles from. I feel like people like this movie because it felt like a good movie.
Yes, and the parts that weren't good, they stopped paying attention for because they were kind of boring.
But no, I like the acting. It was it was I mean, I've seen 2 Jack Nicholson movies, but what I know about Jack Nicholson and his roles, it is different from what
Yes.
he typically does. And I believe this is the movie that put him on the map. Like I like Faye Dunaway, though. Faye Dunaway kind of plays very strong women, vague, mysterious women. So she's in her wheelhouse in this movie.
Do you happen to remember the really uncomfortable scene where they were when they were following the husband around, where the 2 dudes jumped in the boat together, with one of them taking photos and the other one paddling? It was the most inconspicuous thing ever, because they're surrounded by. Well, first of all, there's one dude, full suit, hat, just paddling the boat by himself. Like, this is what I'm doing for lunch today. And then there's several couples, and then there's just these 2 dudes. Like, one of them has a camera. He's just kind of laid back, chilling. The other dude's, this paddling. That was the first thing that really stood out as being just kind of weird.
Yeah, but like I like the concept of the movie in that, as Gittes says, like he's in matrimonial work. Like his day-to-day job is to follow cheating wives and cheating husbands, and to tell the spouse that hired him what's going on. I mean, that's how we're introduced to the character, and I like how it turns into him as like this, simple private detective somehow stumbling into the scandal that involves the entire region and just getting way over his head.
Yeah, and I honestly wish that like, I like that part of the movie. I like that general vibe of it, but I feel like they didn't do enough to actually like make that character, transition happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the first, I think the first maybe woman he talks to. It starts out, and this is something that was kind of cool, is that they started out with the black and white photograph.
Uh-huh.
So first you're like, oh, it's a black and white movie, yeah. But then he pulls it back and they're in color, which was, again, with the kind of artsy-ish kind of director, that stuff's kind of cool. But I never got the full sense of just what he did on a day-to-day basis. So while he states that that's who he is and what his job is, typically he doesn't necessarily feel that he is in over his head or anything like that. He just feels like a dude that is doing
his job. He could probably be doing really good things, but something happened back some time ago in a little place in LA called
Chinatown.
Yes, Chinatown, the namesake of the movie that doesn't get name checked until, at least by my count, like I said, 32 minutes in the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they don't go to it until there's 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the movie.
Yes.
They do not go to Chinatown.
Yes. Now, what did you? All right. Once basically he.
But what does make sense is the way he vaguely describes Chinatown throughout the movie, and what actually happens in Chinatown once they get there match. Like, at one point he says, about Chinatown, you spend most of your time just trying to figure out what was going on, and in that last minute or so of the movie, like, he's has no idea what's going on. So,
so what were your thoughts on the movie after he at one point he finds a set of glasses in the little koi pond type thing in the yard of the
Faye Dunaway's
character that belonged to her husband, who they found salt water in his lungs, so they he assumes at first that he obviously was washed into the ocean, and then he realizes they have a saltwater pond in the in their yard, and he finds the glasses. So he finds out this is where he was killed. Um, at that point, he decides that Faye Dunaway's character must have been responsible for killing him. That she must have done it.
Just jumps to that conclusion.
So jumps to that conclusion. Goes to her house. There's a house with her, with her daughter / sister / husband's girlfriend. I'm not sure what the last one, but
no. Sister, daughter.
I was getting to that. So he shows up and he accuses her, and then somehow, like at some point, he just changes his mind and doesn't even stop to clarify anything. He just kind of changes his mind and decides that they need to go on the run. But before that, as you brought up, there's a moment that he asked her who this woman is, and she says, "It's my sister," and then he slaps her. And she says, "It's my daughter," and then he slaps her. And this goes on like 4 or 5 times, and it's like a robot, and he's trying to reset her.
Yeah. I think part of it is like she doesn't know what to consider her, probably.
Well, she was being honest the whole time, just wasn't telling the full story. Which the big revelation is that apparently that she was sleeping with her dad.
No, not that implies consensual. I'm pretty sure it wasn't consensual.
Oh well, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, it's not consensual ever in that scenario.
No.
So it's but it was she wasn't sure about it, I guess is the best way. I don't know. It was messed up.
This is their nuking the fridge moment. This movie. It's like I have no idea the purpose of that to the movie overall, except that happens. She has that kid. She goes to Mexico, and then her dad's business partner comes to Mexico to take care of her, and they get married, and that somehow leads into this. So
I don't even know. I am totally cool with weird twists and all that kind of stuff. One specific movie that if anyone actually ever watches this, they will probably know what I'm talking about. But you haven't seen it. There has a very similar twist to it, and it's kind of what makes the movie in a lot of ways. And this, it just kind of felt like a thing. The only purpose it served was making the ending of the movie weirder. And I don't mean this part of the ending. I mean when the part where they're actually in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Just because the dad shows up. I'm not sure how he knew to be there. I don't remember if that was addressed or if he just happened to show up.
Yeah.
And the now originally the Faye Dunaway and her sister daughter were supposed to get in the car with the guy. Was it her like who was it that they went to Chinatown with?
I don't remember. No, I think they were just. I guess it was her servant or something, butler. Maybe. But they just got in the car, and then they drove away, and then the cops started shooting at them. And at this point, Gittes is in handcuffs. Someone lands a shot on Faye Dunaway's character.
Well, he not only lands a shot, he lands a shot from a power stance. Like he stretches out, and just the weirdest.
It reminds me of. Have you seen Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey?
No.
Well, it's a movie about mistaken identity and stuff, and they played a married couple, and they get involved with these like gangsters or whatever. And at one point, a gangster is pointing a gun at them, and he turns the gun sideways, like this. And Steve Carell's character's like, "Oh God, it's a kill shot, a kill shot."
Yeah, I will say the double-handed power stance move this guy pulls off is the rough equivalent of a 1940s guy turning a gun sideways.
Yeah. But no, this guy gets his shots off, nails her from like through the eye from half a football field.
Yes.
And somehow with a revolver. It was a revolver, wasn't it? They were just shooting revolvers.
I would think so.
Or some just small handguns, and they get her, and they realize she's dead, and then like the police lieutenant says, "Uncuff him," pointing to Gittes, and then they slowly walk away, and the movie's over.
Yeah.
I don't know the first hour of the movie's good. I'd give the first hour movie like an 8. And then everything after that is just cutting momentum and just devolves into a mess. And it's probably
I don't know to what extent this is he is responsible for, but the original script apparently had a happy ending, right off into the sunset type of thing. I don't know what it was exactly, but the sad, Faye Dunaway dies at the end thing was apparently 100% Roman Polanski.
Mm-hmm.
And based on some of the other weird choices, like that he would have been responsible for in the creation of the movie, totally makes sense. I don't know how far back he is. Like, I don't know if the sister-daughter thing was originally part of it. I assume it was. It's kind of a big thing to be in there. But her dying at the end.
This isn't based on a book or anything. This is an original story.
Yeah.
So, but I read Roger Ebert's essay on this, and since they made this in 1973, I didn't know this, but Roman Polanski's wife was killed by the Manson family.
Yes, actually.
So, and he says, it would make sense that Polanski would go towards in his quote, a despair direction when it came to the romantic woman in a movie.
And I'm totally down with messed up, sad, make you kind of question your, will to live kind of endings on movies. Thoroughly enjoyed The Road. Both the book and the movie. But
I see what you did there. Okay.
But for this one, it was just, I don't know. It didn't mean anything to me. It just was the feeling that I got, knowing that this isn't it, but the feeling that I got from the movie was that I'm just tired of making this movie. Let's just get it over with. What can we do to get that done? We can kill her.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't really think that.
I just don't think it's well thought out.
Yeah, I don't think that's really the case. But that's how I felt at the end of it. That's how it. Like, it's just the feel. Like my takeaway as a viewer was, if I went into it with no information about who was in this movie, who directed it, who wrote it. If this was if this could have been something that some 16-year-old made.
No, okay. You're trashing on a little too much. You're going too far.
Well, I mean, if that were the case, it could have felt. That's just how it felt.
Okay. I don't think. Like I said earlier, noir movies, I think they're supposed to be convoluted to a degree, and the third act is convoluted, but it just doesn't. Yeah, the ending just doesn't feel like there's a payoff at all. The movies can have no resolution. This one just has a weird what just happened. Nothing that came before this makes any sense or whatever. So I kind of sat there as the credits rolling, like, all right, that was how the movie ended. Okay, but it doesn't feel earned at all.
Props to them for going with the credit roll on footage, though. That was something.
Well, no, I think that's typical of most movies that era. The credits roll as stuff's still going on screen.
Yeah.
But I know this is all roads lead to Star Wars. In 1977, Star Wars was the first movie that where there weren't credits at the beginning, and so and this came out in 74, so you have that really awkward opening crawl of credits at the beginning. So that was typical of that time, but it was made to look like the opening credits from a 1930s movie, so it felt retro 2 times over.
Yes. And that's really that is an interesting thing. It is watching a movie that at this point is 40 years old.
41 years
41 years old. That was made to look retro when it came out.
Yeah.
It was made to look like a movie from, was it 2030,
30 years before it. So
yeah.
But you see that even in movies today. If like a movie is set during like a certain decade, like they'll use the studio logos from that era.
Yeah.
Like in Argo, I think that was a Warner Brothers movie, right? Or something like that. They used the logo from that studio from the early 80s. So they even did it. They even oddly did it for The Interview. They used an old retro studio logo,
which was a nice little touch, to kind of poking fun a little bit at the North Korea thing, I think. But anyway, so what is your just kind of final take on it? Is this something that you would say, hey, you should watch this? It's weird, but whatever.
Not wholeheartedly, no. I wouldn't watch the first hour and then sit back and watch the fireworks, I guess. I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe if you're a Jack Nicholson completist, or you like noir movies. If you're a noir completist, I mean, it feels like a good noir movie. That's the best compliment I can give it. The acting is on par, the direction, editing. It just doesn't. The rest of it doesn't come together for a movie that's. Yeah, it just doesn't come together.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. It's one of those movies that I feel like you kind of have to watch just because it was so well regarded. Every director that's gone to film school has probably watched it in some kind of film class. Yeah. You're going to see references to it.
Now I will. Now I know what it's referencing.
Yeah. Now that you've seen it, you're going to see references. You're going to see allusions to it.
I'm like, since I've been watching the great movies and all this from the Ebert essays, I've already started seeing that. Like I watched All About Eve a couple weeks ago, and I've already seen a reference to that, and I think it was either a movie or a TV show in the last 2 weeks. So and also I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey, so now I get those kind of references. So even though I wouldn't recommend 2001: A Space Odyssey to anyone, at least the fact.
Do you have any interest in watching the I guess it's kind of a sequel to this movie, the Two Jakes?
There's a sequel?
Yes. It's not. I don't know if it's a full-on sequel, but it's based on it's like there's like a trilogy of movies that were planned. They made 2 of them. They kind of made a 3rd one, which I'll get to in a second. But yes, there's a movie called The Two Jakes that's starring and directed by Jack Nicholson. Came out 16 years after Chinatown.
Huh. I feel like I'm pretty sure I've seen the poster for this movie before. Huh.
But it's actually a direct sequel. I couldn't remember for sure. But the third spiritual sequel, apparently, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Really?
Yes.
But that came out.
There was.
Oh no, Two Jakes came out in 1990.
Towne wrote 3 movies, and they wanted to do a trilogy about different aspects of LA. The first one was Chinatown. The second was the Two Jakes, and then the apparently some of the ideas from the third one were used as a part of the plot.
That's weird because Two Jakes came out in 1990. Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in 1988. So that's weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I assume it was all written, but I don't know. That's something that I've seen in a few places that I thought was an interesting little thing.
So, yeah, okay, the synopsis of The Two Jakes. The sequel to Chinatown finds Jake Gittes, is it Gittes? Investigating adultery and murder and the money that comes from oil. So, okay, so so just from reading that synopsis, I've now come to the conclusion that the Chinatown movies are the noir version of Die Hard. So he goes from the water industry or water/real estate industry to the oil industry.
Yes.
And he's just a little old divorcee private investigator. So okay, I don't know. I don't think I'd watch it. Probably not.
No, it's not supposed to be as good as Chinatown, so not really.
It's a 6.1 on IMDb.
All right, well, I guess that's it for Chinatown. Here in the near future, I guess we're going to be doing Fury Road and Tomorrowland.
Double feature.
Yes. So. And we will be doing...
If you have anything, if you have anything comments you'd like to share about Chinatown or Tomorrowland and Mad Max Fury Road, you can email me at danielmcfadden@gmail.com, and that's all one word. Spell my last name McFadin. danielmcfadden@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter just at Daniel McFadden.
I'm Broski on Twitter, and I might respond if you send me a message. Probably not. And I'm not going to give away my email because I don't want to.
Okay. Fine. All right. Whatever.